Ugh.
That's all right, Michael. A picture's worth 1,000 words.
Yeah. Sometimes video is a little bit better. All right. Well, you know, let's see. Who else? Janie, Jeannie, Linda, Jesse, Richard, and Kathy. So we're missing Tommy and Melanie. Is Melanie coming? Kathy? Kathy?
Nobody knows.
Well, let's see. It's almost 20.
Almost 20 after already.
Yeah, let's why don't we go ahead and get started with trying to finish this up. And while I'm thinking about it, let me, before we really get started.
Say hi, D-Dog. That's my little buddy.
Ah.
Is there any way, I'm like Jesse, I hate shadows. Is there any way of taking out a shadow that ended up being horrible?
Yeah, you can lift it.
Okay.
If you can't lift it, if you try to lift it and it won't lift, you can you can actually make stuff darker.
You can make stuff what?
Around it a little bit darker and then redo it.
Okay.
If that makes
that makes sense. I'll show it to you later when we're showing our pictures, because
okay. Let's see. Oh, I don't know what it is. I think my wireless mouse gets tired. I mean, it has plenty of charge, but I think it gets tired about this time of day, and it doesn't want to work. It's like charged. Either that, or there's like a piece of cat hair. And it's
blame it on the poor cat again.
And it's throwing the laser, but it just doesn't want to work. I've got stuff underneath the mouse pad that's This is what you get for eating lunch right in front of your computer.
The computer gets hungry?
Yeah. You get crumbs.
No wonder it's giving you a hard time if all you give it is crumbs.
There we go. That's what I'm looking for. So the photo that I sent you guys of slips and stuff was taking, I think I took that at like, I don't know, 70 miles an hour. I was not driving, but so it was an older phone that didn't have as great, I think it was my iPhone 4, so it didn't have as great a resolution. But that's okay, because
the one that you sent us today?
Yeah, the one I sent you today. The one that I of the umbrellas was taken with an actual 35 millimeter DSLR. So it's a little bit it's a little bit better. But anyway, so if you zoom in, if you open it and zoom in on it, it's a little funky. But that is cool.
On the drawing, I thought that was a hogan, but then when I look at the picture, it's rocks.
Oh yeah, it's a whole slew of rocks. They're these big rounded red
Was there a cliff dwelling there, or did you just formulate that?
Cliff dwelling?
Yeah.
Oh no, that's just actual. That's just a little sketch of rock. That can be
At the
whatever.
bottom?
Yeah, that's all that is.
Oh,
A bit of
that-
cliff. All right, everything just.
okay. Well, it looked like you put a cliff dwelling there.
No.
We're not going to look at our pictures until later, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I better put this aside. There you go.
Yeah, it's not the best sketch of cliff, but if I can get Photoshop to work for me. Okay, here we go. I'll show you really quick, and let's get on with the rest of the. See, you can see it's just this cliff here that I was sketching, but it
Yeah.
does. On sketch, it does kind of look like it could be. So no, there aren't lines there. That was,
So where is this taken at? Where was this taken at?
in Arizona, as you're
Riding along the highway.
yeah, I don't know exactly know, but I think I was still in Arizona.
Have you ever taken, you know, where Shiprock is, there's a road just south of Shiprock that heads west.
Yeah.
If you go up that road, there are some beautiful mountains through there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've been through there. So okay, so let's stop the share, and we'll go back to umbrellas. So volume level's good.
Yeah.
I'm not worried. My voice does carry, but apparently when I'm facing away from my computer, it doesn't carry well enough. Okay. All right, so let's see. So if you recall, we'll left off. We just have a little bit of stuff here, but part of it is we need to add our cast shadow from the lip, the stand, there's actually a little bit of, I want to darken some of this up that we have. And I want to darken because it's important. I decided I liked it there, but it didn't necessarily, but it still doesn't very I'm not trying to say it doesn't need to be very well, it's not very important, so it needs to be not that quite good. This is kind of where we're to show our area of interest in. One of the things, so what I'm going to do is come back in first and get the mode, except for just a little bit. Almost as dark as this back area here. I'm actually, if I do my palette, I left everything, so I had that kind of it was over in here. I have that green. So I'm going to get these wet. I'll have to read it. Not very dark. That was blue, probably. And acetone violet. And maybe even a little, let's see, yeah, little indigo. I could throw that in there just to get it. I have that nice dark purple. And then I'm going to come over and grab a little, can't really see on my palette. I'm going to grab a little Hooker's green, throw that over here, and grab some royal blue as well. That'll give us some nice darks. And I'm going to start just with this. I'm going to come in and just put some texture with using just that. I'm going to use my flat brush, but you could use a round brush. I'm just going to be using kind of side in this front of my brush. And also sometimes the tip. So placing some of that, I'm going to grab some of that purple, and bring that in.
That just keeps going, man.
And then down here where it starts to blend in with the background, that's I can even pull it back just so it gets a little. I get a little bit of a lost edge. I'm going to pull it back out into the background. And then I can clean my brush out and just use thirsty brush so it's clean, and then I kind of squeegee it. I can lift, or I can just come in with a little water, soften some of these edges, these spots. And again, that just builds texture, so I can pull that over there, and maybe there's a secondary cast shadow. Well, it doesn't even matter. Add some, start pulling your eye in.
Okay, Mike, so what color combination did you use for this?
I used some indigo and quinacridone violet for the purple color, which I just moved that off. And so that was this kind of dark purple. You use like any dark blue and kind of violet color that you have to make it dark purple. And then I used royal blue and Hooker's green. So if you've got, kind of a darker green and a darker blue, those are the kind of color combinations. Those are the sort of 3 or 4 colors that I use. I'm going to pick up a little bit more. Drop that in a couple of spots. It's going to be too later, because I don't want this to be that light. It's going to be too light, but later I'm going to come in and knock that back. But I want some of that texture, and I want that lightness there. So to kind of, I want that to be lighter than this is going to be, but I'm going to have to add another layer once this is dry. Pick up a little bit of that. All right, and I want to add this shadow over here, and I have to remember that this comes down pretty close to, the sun's pretty high in the sky, but it doesn't really matter. This comes down pretty steep, and You know, in the photo, it actually is way over here, but I'm going to make it kind of come in at a different angle because it doesn't really matter where, you know, the shadow's coming from or where the sun, I mean, it does, but it doesn't. And just because this is a little, well, no, I'm going to still use and I'm going to come in with a little opera just in this area to be a little warmer, cool. So I'm going to start with a little opera. That's to kind of, and there's a bit of that purpley mix kind of got in there a little bit as well. It's not pure opera. Got a little of that, and then I can start looking at quinacridone violet, just pure quinacridone violet.
Both heard it already.
Kind of layer. I've got that quinacridone violet. Now I'm going to move into some of that kind of green, that dark royal blue mix. And I'm just going to pull that all the way over this. This is going to help knock back those super bright whites that I don't necessarily want. And I can, they'll still be a lot lighter than what's behind there. Let's see, I think I'll switch over to some of that dark purpley color. I can already tell I'm going to need to, I'm going to need to make this shadow here a lot darker, the underside of that, that overhang, that sill. That's not a bad looking shot. I'm kind of happy with that. More, I think that ended up being more quinacridone violet than opera, but I'm going to throw a little more opera up in there. Upper area. And then I need to figure out, okay, well, this is kind of where that's coming down. It needs to be down here somewhere. I'm just going to plop a little line in with my brush, and then I'm going to come back and grab a little quinacridone violet. I could use a little alizarin crimson if I wanted to. That would be a good color right in here. So I'll just bring it in and then pick that up on the other side here. And then maybe we'll go into some of that that green. And don't feel like you need to use the exact same brush. You can use your round brush. It's getting a little tight in here. I'm just using the point of my flat brush to do the same thing. Don't feel like you need to necessarily use the exact same brush I'm using. So I'm just going to come in with, let's see, I picked up just some of that quinacridone violet royal blue mix. And shadow here. So push that like that. And then I can also look at the shapes of my kind of scrubby, brushy, bushy, whatever those things are, that plant material there. I want a little bit dark up in here, so I can do a little bit of that up there. Maybe I'll bring in some of that green royal blue with a little more leaning towards the blue in this case. That's pretty watery. So I'll just add a little bit more water and then yeah, not Touche. You can see that this is really causing those umbrellas to pop now. They're really pushing forward. Yeah. And I don't want to get a weird blossom right here. I don't mind a little bit of a blossom, but pull that on over. Here. Yeah, and I kind of screwed up that little knob at the top of the umbrella, but that's okay. Yeah. So let me dry this tree a little bit. I can already tell that this is definitely going to need this shadow on the bottom side of this thing is going to need to get darker, but I need to wait until like a paint here. I need to wait until this is dry. I probably should wait till this is dry. Stop myself. So I'm just going to quickly kind of dry this so it's more. It just hadn't quite dried enough. And I'm going to come in just with some Hooker's green now. I may end up picking up a little of the blue, but mostly it's Hooker's green. But it's going to be pretty watery. And I want to just, that's too watery. I just want to cover and knock back this bit of light. So I want a little bit of a pop. I don't really want this. That helps knock that back. And then what I'm going to do is come in with just, some indigo. You could use royal blue. You could use phthalo blue a little bit if you have to, if that's what you got. It doesn't lift as well. Although I was watching Tom Lynch do a demo, and he uses a Sennelier. I don't know. I'll have to research pronunciation. Sennelier brand now. He doesn't use Holbein anymore. And apparently their phthalo blue, which is a really nice jewel tone blue, does not stain. So, which may be why he switched to that paint. But I'm just going to add some more in here with this indigo. So that's an interesting thing that I just learned from watching kids.
You never sent us that link you were going to,
by
the way.
Let me write that down right now. Apparently I forgot to write it down. I will do that. I'll try to do that before I leave tonight.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. So I've got some nice texture built up over here. Just by a lot of it's just by using that chisel tip of my brush. It's a bunch of straight edges, but when combined with each other, they start to form interesting organic.
Oh.
I want that to kind of get lost in there. Hold on. See, I'm getting a bit of a puddle right here, and as this starts to dry, it's going to start sucking that back up in there. So I'm going to just I've got my brush. It's thirsty. It's been squeezed out. It's clean, and just squeezed out. You can tell because it's sort of solid. And I'm gonna lift some of that excess water. And I'm not too worried about the fact that that stuff back there is a little blurry now, because I can go back in and sharpen it up with some real dark lines, dark edges here in a little bit. Yeah, that's starting to look all right. Let's see. So while we're waiting for that to dry, I could dry it, but I think what I'm going to do now is kind of move back down in here. We've got this kind of nice, some light and midtones, some very light midtones. I want to add some darker darks down in here because I just want a little hint of this stuff going on here. So I'm going to come in. I'm just going to use my round brush. Oh, another really cool tip, which I've heard him talk about before, I always forget about it, is taking, see how my brushes start, see that, start to crack the paint and stuff. And whoops, see, my ferrule just he has this really, when he gets a brand new brush, he actually takes fingernail polish, paints around, kind of overlaps both the ferrule and the wooden handle. And it helps seal that a little bit better so it doesn't crack. You know, what happened here is I left this in the water too long. This is what happens when you leave a wooden handle. Or I lit, the brush was wet and it was on an incline where everything was flowing back down into the handle. It caused the wood to swell, which caused this to get loose. And so it's one of those two things. Anyway, that was kind of an interesting tip. He just takes a little clear fingernail polish, but you could use any color you had on hand. Apparently, it's the one thing he used to rate it. Well, he rated it, he stole it from his wife. Not me personally. Well, at the time, first time he told me about it was. But he's said it multiple times on videos I've watched now, and I'm like, oh, I need to do that. Okay, so back to what we were doing. I'm going to come in with some dark blues and greens. Again, I'm going to use a little indigo. I can even use some purple in this again, but in this case, it needs to be a fair amount darker, so you can see I think it's an indigo. And I've added it to my palette here, and I'm going to take some quinacridone violet and add it here. Now, this is just on top of that green that I'd already mixed. I'm going to add in a little more green. More indigo. And then I'm going to pull some of this indigo over here into this too, so it's really purpley, real dark.
Where's my indigo?
But if you don't have indigo, you know, royal blue works, any of your dark blues. So start off with that blue-green. Just down, kind of similar to what I did down here. Now I've switched over into, you know, a round brush, but I'm just going to start adding kind of some random darks here. That's that green. I want to switch colors now, so I'll go over to that purple. Same color every time. And all this is just helping to knock that back a little bit so it's not quite as bright as this stuff. But at the same time, somewhat define the shapes as brushy, bushy shapes. And it's just kind of, I'm not sitting there painting a leaf or anything. I'm just kind of painting some abstract shapes, leaving some of that lower color. And showing through. Maybe I'll just use my brush out, use a little just water and soften some of these edges a little bit. I don't want all the edges to be sharp. I want some lost edges. So really now I've just got a fairly clean brush. It's not even that wet, it's just damp. And I'm going in and softening some of this. If my brush starts to get too dirty, I'll clean it off and then I'll wipe it off. And just soften some of this. That's not too shabby. Now I'm going to hit the dryer a little bit because this is still pretty damp up here. I'm just going to add just a hint of dark back here too, just to kind of help make this umbrella stand. Pop a little bit and clean up this. Dark back in there. Okay, so I need to deal with this shadow here. I also know that these shadows aren't really dark enough as well, so I kind of need to deal with them. Excuse me. So I'm going to come in, I've got
Which ones were you?
this shadow and then these smaller edges that are basically dark sides, shadow sides of the building. There's a little bit of an indent right there. And this comes out, there's a little bit of an out and an indent to this part, indent, you know what I'm saying? It's almost like a column that's built into the side of the wall there. I'm going to start with that little bit. And this is a little bit, because this sticks out further than this and this, that's why this is a little thicker up here. So I've got this kind of thicker bit that comes out here and then continues down there. That's just some of that that purpley green mix. Purple blue mix. And then I kind of switched over to the green. It doesn't really matter for this. It's so small that I'm not going to get a lot of color change in here. But I might go between, that's that green and blue. I might switch over to just some royal blue here. And I go along just to darken this shadow. Make that a little sharper. And then come in down here. That's that. Just blue. And switch over to the purple and blue mix. So that was royal blue I used. Right there, and then it'll come down. It's kind of darkening that. Also, what I need to do is separate this front plane of this thing from this back wall of it. So while I'm waiting for this to dry, we'll go ahead and do this little bit. I'm going to start off with just some royal blue, a little bit of green. I'm just going to, and I didn't roll my brush, so I have a weird flat edge. I'm just going to kind of come in carefully with this point here. Darken this. That's going to be just a bit lower. So let's switch over to some quinacridone violet. I get some color variation in the shadow. A single color shadow is a little boring. So by having multiple colors in there, it still reads as dark. It just more interesting, but that's starting to read more like the underside of something that's casting this darker shadow. This shadow is not as dark as that, so it's starting to work. Okay, so I need to now separate. I have a really light line right here. I need to separate this plane from that plane, both here and on this side of that. So what I'm going to do is get a little, I could use some Pyro Orange. I could use some Scarlet Lake. I could use alizarin Crimson. I'm going to start with a little Pyro Orange, I think. But if you don't have Pyro Orange, you can use any of those colors, like this. The alizarin Crimson is a great one. It's got a bunch of funky. And I'm just going to come in here and lay in just a little bit of color. Now that's too much, obviously. So I'm going to completely clean my brush out and now pull that up away from slightly. Really, it lightens that Pyro Orange. I can pull that on over here. That's still too much, so I can come in and really just water that down. Clean brush with a fair amount of water in it. But you can see, just by using a little bit of that along this edge, I can fairly clean and then come back up and soften that. I could switch, maybe I'll switch to Scarlet Lake. It's a little better. I could even use some of that permanent yellow orange, you know, or cadmium orange. That would be a good choice for this. So where that dries, I want to get rid of that brush real quick. But you can see already pushing this wall back and pulling that one forward. very similar to the last one we did, where we had all those little patios and porch-looking things. Back with some pyro orange. Maybe I'll use a little. Use a little. Come in with a little alizarin crimson. It's kind of a nice kind of burgundy. That really softened. I could have used a little opera. Opera would have worked well. Here, I'll add a little of that in. It's a little granulated here, but throw a little of that in. But you can see that just by adding that little bit, leaving this really, really light, and adding that little tiny bit of color change, it's not even really darker. I mean, it is, but it's not. Like if we were to look at this opera that I just put down on here, it actually show up as almost white. I got out that. See, it's still quite a bit. I mean, with the red thing in front of it, you can't hardly see the difference. But that little bit of color change helps define. Now, I don't want this to seem a little weird here, so I'm going to bring a little bit of this opera. Actually, I'm going to use a little pyro orange, and I think I picked up some alizarin crimson there too. But I'm just going to add a little of that to this. I don't want to totally lose my shadow there, so I'm just going to. That'll push that, make it more color. Yeah, not too shabby. Now I don't want to totally outline these umbrellas, but I kind of want to show that there's a little bit of a seam, you know, here and there, and kind of pick out some of these little edges. I'm not going to completely outline everything, but I am going to come in with a little royal blue. In my little brush. I'll show you my palette here. So I've just, I've got this number 6, and I'm putting my royal blue down over here in the corner of my palette. And again, I'm using a fair amount of water. It looks like it's pretty dark, but it's not really. And I'm going to roll my brush. So I get a nice little point. And then I'm going to come in and just lightly, in a few spots, add a few little dark edges, just to see how very light. I don't know if you can see what I did. Yeah. Show you if you can see. I just added a little bit of a line right there and a little bit of a line right there. Not a whole lot, just barely bringing in a little bit. I'm going to put a little bit of one right here. I'm going to further define that a little bit, maybe a little bit. Just ever so slightly, not a huge outline, just a little bit of a, no, and see, that was probably too much, but that's all right. Down in here, a little bit of shadowy bit there. Just ever so slightly putting in just little hints of that. Maybe there's a little bit in in this crease here. Touch in there. Just tiny little bits to help define that just a little bit better. Let's put a little here. I might come in and add just a touch of shadow on the side of that little knob on the top of the umbrella. Yeah, starting to look good. Continue doing that over here. I already have just a wee bit there that I've done, so I don't really need to add. I think I did that when I kind of randomly picking little spots to add. I could even switch to a little purple if I wanted, that dark purple that I mixed. I wanted to, you can see I got a little extra blue right here. And I like that little hint of light caught on that, so I'm not gonna, I don't know if you can see it. I'm trying not to be tempted to paint over it. There. So you can tell, you can see, I mean, I'm not really painting, let's see, I think I'm gonna leave those. I'm not outlining that, I'm just, adding just a hint of dark. I may even come in and just add a bit more edge of this to help it pop a little bit more. Same with over here. It's got a little thin right there, so I can come in and add just a bit more dark to that. Widen that out. Yeah. Okay, so I also need to add a little bit more detail back into this. I don't, right now it's looking a little washed out, so I want to do some of the similar kind of things. I want to add little dark shadows. So I'm gonna, I've grabbed some royal blue and I dropped it on top of here. So this is mostly royal blue. I dropped on top of that green. And I'm just going to come in and add a little bit of shadow edge there. Down in here, just to kind of thicken that up. And it kind of cleans up those lines a little bit. These are a little bit thicker lines. I'm pressing not super hard with my brush, but a little bit harder than say I was on some of these.
Okay.
And this is just this, the shadow side and the underside of those little window casements. mullions, whatever you want to call them. And I can even come in and add just a bit of a hint, a really, really thin line, say right there. We'll come in and we'll add just a bit of a, not completely drawing that line. I mean, there's some spots where it kind of goes away. We zoom in on that so you can see what I did there. Just giving it a bit of a defined edge. Same thing we did kind of on those windows. I mean, on the umbrellas, just kind of sharpening that up just a bit. Put that in. Define these. But that just helps that look less washed out. Yeah. I'm getting pretty happy with this. Try this really quick. Yeah.
Hey, Michael,
Yeah.
could you give us a few minutes to get caught up on these lines?
I surely can.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, Michael, would you mind looking at my pictures to see what you think?
Not at all. Let's see.
How to do this now. Am I showing?
Yes.
Okay, I'll turn it. Tell me if I'm on it or not.
Well, you just turned your camera off.
Oh, I did?
Yes. There you go.
Okay. Let's try that.
All right. Now, so move your camera a little to your right and a little up. Okay. That's pretty good. Let's see, just a little bit, actually a little more. You've gone too far to the right. And so you need to go to the left a little bit and down. I'm sorry. Wait a minute. The camera needs to. I'm sorry. You're showing me the lower left-hand corner of your painting. Your camera needs to go to the right more. Keep going to the right.
To the right.
Yep, and then up towards the top of your painting as well. Okay, that's pretty good. Well,
I know you're seeing shadows on there from my hands.
that's okay. Pull it back away from your paint. There you go. Perfect. Got it.
Okay.
see here.
Let me see here. Let me get my picture out of here. I see me. Let me shut me off. Stop video. Okay. I know I added a few little extra colors today.
Yeah. So let me share this real quick. That's looking really nice, Linda.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it. You've got, you know, a little bit this building, you know, you've got the shadow coming down in here. That's pretty nice. You've got a nice, yeah, kind of swath of light coming through. Yeah, that's looking nice.
I worked on it all afternoon. I took your picture and tried to, you know, copy what you were doing.
Mm-hmm. I think that this shadow here, whoops, let me get a pen or a brush here. You see how this little sweep of shadow you got there? It could both on all these, it could be just a hint, doesn't have to be a lot, just a hint darker.
Okay.
It is. Not like a huge amount darker.
Yeah.
Just a hair bit. Like a
And
real
actually, it looks darker on my picture than it does on your picture.
Oh, well, that could be because it's backlit on, you know, and it's not backlit in real life. So it could be perfect. So if you feel like it's dark enough, then I would ignore what I just said.
Okay.
But
because you can hardly see it on your picture, but I can see it pretty well here.
Okay, yeah, then you're probably good. I think you're probably good. It's just a little hard to see on this, but you know, it's a webcam via the internet, and, and my monitor's probably wacky, and who knows. But yeah, no, I think that's looking really nice. Good job so far.
Thank you.
Yeah. Cool.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Michael?
Yeah.
When I've been using some paper that I've been given that was 10 by 14, and yet when I was looking for a mat for it, if you go the size that would accommodate it would, with the opening would be something like I forget. Anyway, it was like an inch bigger opening. So what do you do when you paint on that big a piece of paper? Do you get it custom matted or?
Yeah, that's exactly what I do. If there's not a standard mat,
Okay.
fit it well.
Right.
You can either go down a size, but then it might be too much, or you can get a custom cut. And there are companies you can order. You know, I mean, I don't want to knock any of the framing companies here in town because they all do a wonderful job. But it is kind of expensive to have it custom cut. But if you're doing a lot of that size,
very,
then you can actually, I'll see if I can't find the company that Bob Burridge uses. Because what he'll do is he'll say, I need the opening to be this size and I need the finished size to be this size. And he'll just order, 20 or 30 of them. And they work out really cheap per
That makes,
ordering a bunch.
yeah.
And
Is that with just the mat or is that with a backing as well?
I think you can get I think he orders the backing. I'm not sure. He may cut that himself.
Okay.
Although knowing
Okay.
he doesn't. He's kind of funny. He's like, I spent years and years cutting my own mats and my own. He goes, I don't have time for that anymore. I don't want to spend my time. So I'm still too cheap to have somebody else do it for me. But
Well, there used to be a place in Boulder that you could mat your own. And they kind of gave you step-by-step instructions, but you did it all. And it was a lot cheaper than having it custom done, by a Hobby Lobby or whatever.
Right. Yeah. Well, I forget what company it is. Also, I know I've got notes where I've taken notes from him. And I have a couple of books by him that I'm pretty sure he's mentioned it. I'll see if I can't find who that is. No, I'm going to write that down too.
Okay.
It can be a sticker shock to go to like wall art.
Well, yeah, it's really easy to get sticker shock. They do a great job, but they are a little on the expensive side. But you are paying, it's quality work, so.
It is. I don't know if Gene Bennett is doing any at home or not.
I don't know that he is. I think he, when he retired from the framing business, he just started teaching into college, but I think he gave them all his sort of stacks, frames and mats and stuff.
I took his class twice. It was a good class.
Yeah. Yeah. Did I ever tell you he was my 8th and 9th grade art teacher when I moved to town?
Oh.
Yeah, it was really funny because he knew my grandmother too. He was like, oh, she was one of the first. My grandmother was one of those people who would, if an artist moved to town, she would introduce herself.
How cool.
Because she was an artist.
Yeah.
And so she wanted to know all the artists in town. So he said she was one of the first people he met when he moved to town. I thought that was kind of funny.
I think that's awesome that she did that.
Yeah.
You're going to have to come inside. There's too much smoke, buddy. Come on. Come on, tree. Come inside. Too much smoke coming in.
I'm ready to move on if everybody else is.
Okay. Get a swig of water here. Okay, let's see here. I lost my train of thought, so I'm sitting here looking at this.
That's all right. That was my train.
I like that, eh? That's funny. Yeah. Okay. I think that technically this could be knocked back a little bit, but I think when I spray some glue around that, that'll take care of that. It's bothering me that it's a little bit lighter than this. I think I will, just for my own sanity, come in and add just a bit of, oh, that's weird. Gosh, I did not wash out that way. I think what I'll do is, I'm going to grab a little of this pyro orange and just a little tiny hint of mostly water, just a hint of that pyro orange on top of it. That was just a real quick fix thing. Honestly, I'm kind of thinking just by drying this and then, well, I think I do want to kind of knock back that little bit of white right there. That seems a little jarring to me. So what I'm going to do is just come in with a little bit of peacock blue. It's mostly going to be water in my brush. And I'm just going to hit that. Oops. Actually got kind of a weird puddle there, but I'm just going to hit that with a little peacock blue just to knock that back. I've got too much on there, obviously, so I want to kind of come in and I'm going to roll with that. And really, I probably could have just used water and gotten the paint around it a little wet and then use that to, I think, that knocks that back just a little bit, pushes it back. It was fighting with the lights and the umbrellas a little bit. Needed to be pushed back just a skosh. I think what I'm going to do now is go ahead and use some fine sprayer to kind of, you know, if you look at the base, you can kind of see the base of my lamp right here. It's got all sorts of blue overspray on it from years of doing this. But I'm just gonna, I need to shake this up a little bit, and I have to do it kind of with the bottle towards the ground because it leaks a little bit for some reason. Ooh, yeah. reason. So maybe yeah, I'm gonna wrap it in a paper towel. Real quick. One time I was shaking the spray bottle and it started leaking all over my painting.
Oh, no.
I don't know why it does that, but maybe the seals are drying on it. You know. Plus, it's so I'm just going to take my fine mist sprayer. I'm going to go around the edge. I thought it was a little too much at first, but actually fairly happy with that.
It sure makes the umbrellas pop.
Yeah, that's kind of the point, is really to get those to really pop out. I had a big blue right there, so I'm gonna pick that up. Yeah. One of the things that, and I never have, these I have to custom cut mats for, because this is a 9x12 sheet of paper. I have a mat that probably, well, it's small, it's too small. That I've used before in the past to kind of, but one of the, the things that watching this Tom Lynch workshop or demonstration reminded me was using a mat when you're not quite, done maybe at this stage, placing a mat over the images. You can look at a dark blue mat or dark green mat or something to really help the darks pop. That's an interesting suggestion. I don't do it a whole lot, but it does help on occasion. Think about that. That's this size.
So Michael,
Yeah.
I'm being facetious, but can I come to your studio so you can spray?
Just using this too large mat, you can kind of see how that, pull that up into there, how that works. Yeah, you could, actually you could, I don't mind. You could do that. But that gives
Really?
you, yeah, bring it by. I'll help you with it.
Oh, because I can just see what a difference that makes, and I don't have any of my bottles yet. Yeah. So it's like, oh, dang.
Let's see. Let me dry this real quick, because sometimes if you've got a fair amount of let's see, let me dry this real quick. Sometimes I've gotten, I want to lift a little bit more out of this. This is starting to flatten out a little bit too much maybe for me. I'll take my my round. take my round brush with just water on it. If you had a rigger, you could do it with a rigger. I'll show you that too. That's what Tom Lynchworth uses. He uses a rigger for a lot of stuff. And actually, it is a handy brush to have. You can see how long trying to find a spot where you can see it. You can see how long compared to this one the bristles of the brush are. This is a rigger brush. It allows you to do a lot of lines. I do use it from time to time. He uses it a lot because you can get some really cool marks with it. I'm just going to use my round, and I'm just going to hold my hand kind of vertically or over this and dangle the brush. So if my hand were the paper and I was coming down, it's going to be perpendicular to the paper. So I'm going to hold the brush. It's a little hard to see at this camera angle. But I'm just going to kind of draw a few little squiggly shapes. I don't even know if you can see those. Here. So I don't know if you can see it. You can kind of see them with the glare here. I drew a few little squiggly shapes over the water. I'm letting it sit for about 10 seconds. And then I'm going to take a dry cloth and then lift a little bit. And that just gives me a little bit of that protection in the because I want it still fairly dark, I'm not going to rub it too hard, but you can see if I wanted to, I could do some down in this area too. Some of this plant, I could add some water in my brush there. I could add a little, and this is what I call fake calligraphy because I'm making random shapes that kind of somewhat look like letter forms, but they're not. They're really squiggles. And that just adds a little more, I don't know if you can see that. It adds just a little more texture back into that. So I don't know that this needs a lot of it. I just wanted to show you that a little bit. But I think that I think we're done. This bit of the show, I think that is a little too light now that I'm looking at this. So I am going to come in with just a hint of quinacridone violet by itself. Well, I'm going to end up picking up some of that. I did gray it down just a bit with some of this kind of peacock blue that was next to it. So I'm just going to come in with a little bit of that just to knock that back just a skosh. It felt, I think I had just a little bit too much light. Pull that across there so it doesn't look weird, but it stopped. Line. That helps push that back just a bit. Oops. And it was looking a little weird, and I think that looks better now with that just mostly quinacridone violet. Yeah. All right. Do we want to look at people's paintings now?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Cool. All right. Excuse me. Let's see. Who's holding? Anybody holding one up?
Me.
In mine.
Janie beat you, Jesse, by a hair. Let me grab your. Okay. Can you hold it a little closer to your? That's good. All right, I got it.
Can I show you the big one too?
Uh-huh,
Because I'd like feedback on both.
sure. Okay, that one, yeah, definitely hold it a little bit further away. Let's see here. There we go. Open these real quick.
What color did you use for the fine mist, Michael?
What's that?
What color did you use for the fine mist?
I had cobalt blue in it, but I'm out of cobalt blue, and I think I was using. I think I put in. What did I put in? I keep forgetting to order it. Cobalt blue is a good one. It was either probably. I'm guessing it was ultramarine blue.
Okay.
But there is a little cobalt blue in there still. So it was kind of a mix. But generally, it's usually cobalt blue that I like to use.
Okay, thanks.
Sure. Okay, so let's see. I think the only thing I would do to this is darken this tree a little bit.
Okay.
I think that's still fighting. You know, it's kind of fighting with your umbrellas a little bit.
All right.
I think if you push that back with some darks, I think you got good texture on there and everything. Try to, yeah, just push that back a little. See this dark that you got, this dark outline that you've got there.
Yeah.
Pull that out more and then knock all this back. Maybe just a little hint of light over here on this side. But.
Okay, that dark was supposed to represent the wall, but I can change that to more greenish. So,
well,
okay.
Even if it's the same kind of blue greens and stuff, that's okay. That's okay, because you kind of want it to sort of recede into the wall a little bit.
Yeah.
Kind of back there, it kind of gets lost. You get that lost edge. You know it's there, but
right.
but it's not as visible.
Okay.
But yeah, that's looking pretty good. And then I think if you can get maybe, and it could just be the webcam. I think this bit, I'm going to draw this line here, but obviously that's
right.
This bit here could stand to be knocked back just a skosh, so that this pops forward. So you could do that with just like a little bit of alizarin crimson or something.
Okay. What about the shadow over the windows? I feel like I lost everything there, even though I went back and firmed up the lines. Well, it doesn't show on yours, but
yeah, you kind of did some of this work.
Yes.
Part of it is probably the webcam. It's
okay,
that I can't see that. It does look a little blurry.
yeah.
You could actually go back in and redarken the window panes as well.
Okay.
It lightened up a little bit too much. So you can go in and redarken those window panes on top of that shadow, and that's fine. That'll help.
Okay.
I ended up not really having to do
right.
that on mine, but I've had to do that in the past on mine too. So, And I might just
Okay.
put a hint of maybe, you know, alizarin crimson or something on this part of the shadow here, where it's a little bit light.
The top.
This
Okay, I don't see where.
that little bit right there.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're having a similar problem that I had. My little bit there was too light. I had to add a little bit more.
Right. On my bigger one, I think I got that part, but my shadow over the garden gate just is really bothering me. I feel like I lost everything.
And it comes in here like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would just come in
I
and
blew it.
what's that?
I said I blew it.
It's still fixable. I think you could come in and darken up this edge of this wall that you've got going on here.
Okay.
Add a little bit of volume. I'm not doing a very good job, but you know.
But I get what you mean. Yes.
And then just come in, and I'm sure I'm losing some of it because of the webcam. But come in and add, you know, a little bit more of those gate shapes. It doesn't need to be as dark as what I'm putting in there.
Right.
I'm just using black, so you don't necessarily need to be
right.
like that dark. But you know, the kind of thin lines that we added.
Yes.
The umbrellas and stuff. You could do something similar, just real fine little bits of line. I think that'll help quite a bit. Part of, I might change the angle there just a little bit. It feels like it's not quite lining up with. So if this is that wall behind there.
Uh-huh.
And I might even darken this even more. You've got it pretty good right here. See how dark that is right there?
Yeah, yeah.
Get that same darkness down in here. Whether it's the same color or not, doesn't matter. But because this is your umbrella stand, right? Right about here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That'll help that umbrella stand, and it'll push this umbrella forward, and it'll push this bit of that wall forward. And then I would also, you know, do the same, kind of knock back your tree a little bit with some darks. And then as you get closer to here, start to lose this edge right here and some of this. You can leave some of this little light bit here that you've got, but knock it back just a bit so it's not quite as bright. And that'll help really pop this umbrella. You know, it'll really push this umbrella forward as well.
Right. Okay.
And then also this under here.
Where? Oh, okay.
Where I'm drawing this
little,
it's kind of under that overhang. This needs to be a little bit darker as well. Almost, you know, almost this dark, but maybe not quite, but close.
Okay.
Because it's right now, it's the same as your cast shadow, and you need it a little bit darker.
Okay.
Yeah, that's starting to look really good, though.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then, yeah, a little bit of that. I don't know if you've done anything in here yet, but.
I did, but it's not showing up. The camera has got everything a blur, so.
Yeah, it's just nature of webcams.
Yeah, because my building is actually that under part that you drew the lines. That's really almost a pyro orange on my thing.
Oh yeah, so if you went on top of that with a little bit of some sort of you know, quinacridone magenta or you know, something along those lines under here, that would really help. You'd still get some of that.
Right.
Some of that what am I trying to, you'd still get some of that glow through there, but it wouldn't be quite as bright.
Okay,
Cool.
thank you. I appreciate your feedback.
Oh, you're welcome. All right, let's, okay, let's see who's,
There's
there's
Jesse.
Jesse. Jesse was place spotlight. Here we go. Ooh, hey, that's looking.
Wow.
Let me
That
get
looks great, Jesse.
Gosh. Keep selling those, Jess.
all right, I got it. Yeah, that looks fantastic. Let me
I was muted. Thanks for all the comments.
oh, you're welcome. Let's see here. Yeah, that's looking really nice.
Really looks good.
Yeah.
Can I make one observation? Just, I'm not meaning this to be mean, Jesse, but when I first looked at it, your garden gate looks like a trash can.
Oh.
Just because of its color, I think, but
Oh yeah. That kind of blue gray.
that grayish, yeah. I think before I realized it was the gate.
About the only thing I see here is maybe trying to get this as sharp as you've got it here, just so you get that continuation of the shadow. So maybe just make this just a skosh dark. It's pretty dark up here, so I would make it the same darkness, same level of dark down. Through all of all of this. I'm surrounding. So within all of this area.
Yes.
I'm gonna stop drawing on. I think just because you lose a little bit, this is so sharp. Either that, or you could soften that just a skosh and see what that does. But I think because your light is so strong, I would go ahead and just make this little bit right here just a bit sharper by making it just a bit darker.
Okay.
But other than that, I think this is looking really nice. Really good.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Who's next?
Okay, I'll set up mine. Everybody's through.
What did I just do? I spotlighted myself, I think. Oh, there we go. Wait. Yeah. Green. Okay, here we go. Let's see.
Nice.
That's looking really nice,
Wow.
Kathy. I got it. Well, I was just sitting here admiring it and forgot to share my screen. Okay, here we go. I like this.
Oh, well, thank you.
I think this is coming along nicely. I like how you ended up with a little bit, whether this was intentional or not, you have just this little bit of something that looks like an umbrella cast shadow right there. That's kind of cool.
Oh, it was not intentional. In fact, I looked at that just before I showed it and I thought, what is that?
Yeah, well, cast shadow from your umbrella.
There you go.
So that's a happy little accident there. Yeah, you know, this line, this edge, I shouldn't really call it a line, this edge right here
Yeah, I know.
could be sharpened up just a skosh
Okay.
through there.
I was trying to do that and it just didn't seem to come into focus. I don't know.
Yeah, it could have been just, you know, after you put that shadow in,
It
soft.
kind of mudded into the rest of the building.
Yeah. Once it's super dry, just go back in and add another glaze to this, you know, this
Okay.
that I so terribly outlined. And I might darken this part of that. Well, actually, I would darken this whole bit just a skosh more.
Where at?
This shadow here that comes on, you know, the shadow edge, the dark edge of this little.
Oh, okay.
I would make it a little bit darker than it is. And I might see about dark, like this is working pretty good. Actually, even the whole tree is actually, but I might darken this bottom portion of it and just almost to where it's almost as dark blue as this. Just,
okay.
You know, kind of put a series of light washes over the bottom part of this tree. And then just sort of feather them up into the rest of the tree. But that'll help push this umbrella here for if you've got this bit of light. Wow, I'm doing a terrible job of sweat. That bit right there, if you knock it back a little bit, push the umbrella forward.
Oh, okay.
But,
I can do that.
Yeah, looking really good. Good job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I guess I'm next.
Who's gonna hold? Let's see. Let me scroll over. Oh, Richard's got his up.
Yeah.
Place spotlight. Hold it. Yeah, pull it back a little bit. Towards you. Oh, yep. There you go. Hold it right there. Let's see. There we go. Got it.
Okay.
Well, I kind of made it crooked. Oh, that's all right. Okay, let me share the screen. Alrighty. This is looking pretty good. I like how you kind of did different colored umbrellas. That's kind of fun.
All right.
I like that. That's a clever idea. I like that. Way to make it your own. I really, that's a really good idea. I think that like your shadow that's going back here.
All right.
I would, let's see, it comes in, what, right about there? Ish, right? Because this is the bottom of that.
Right.
And then you've got this over here. So this shadow area, I think I would put another glaze of dark over the whole, not the umbrellas, I'm sort of surrounding, like over this whole section here. I did a really bad job of tracing your umbrella there, but and then I can kind of see it here anyway. And then kind of in that area, and that I think that just needs to be pushed back a little bit darker.
All right.
To help make your umbrellas pop, because right now you've got a lot of very similar, like this is a nice dark right there, but right now it's the only thing that catches my eye because it's so dark and everything else is kind of mid-tone, light to mid-tone. So I think if you can push this dark, pretty dark, like not almost as dark as this bit right here, and take this, see how dark it is right here.
Okay.
Or even maybe like, oops, didn't mean to do that. Maybe even this little bit that I've kind of outlined right there.
Yeah.
See how dark that is. Take that level of darkness and put it over this shadow. That'll help these really pop forward. Yeah. And then you could even add just a wee bit more to any kind of cast shadow on your kind of gate thing back here. Like this whole bit from here over could be a little darker too.
Okay. Yeah.
But I think it's looking really nice. You got some good shapes in here. You got some good, I really like the idea of chain, you kind of have this kind of green umbrella and then kind of a pink and a blue umbrella. That's really cool. That was a clever idea.
Thanks.
One that did not occur to me. Oh, and I might see this little triangle of light right there.
Oh yeah.
That I would push that back so it's as dark as this too. Just kind of flatten that off right there. So, cool. Good job, Richard.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's looking really sharp. Let's see. Jeannie, did you want to?
I want you to see it.
Yeah. Pull it back just a skosh from the. Come on. There we go. Perfect. Hold it right there. Got it. Okay, let's. Oh yeah, that's looking. Oh, I gotta share the screen.
Okay.
There we go. That's looking really sharp. I like how your umbrellas are really popping out like they should.
Oh, thank you.
Really nice. My only thought here is, see how dark you have this bit right here? See how dark that is, that shadow right there?
I don't see your pointer.
Let me now, a little bit down in here, right to the right of your little gate.
Okay, to the right of the gate. Okay.
Yeah. See how dark that is?
You're saying the shadow of the umbrella?
No. It's the shadow. It's really, if I
didn't know what that was. Is that a fence post?
No. So what this whole this whole bit right here is a shadow cast from this building. This big purple dark building back here.
Okay.
How did I make that so big? Look at that. So this all, like from down in this area, like all of this and over, needs to be that same level of dark all the way through. So you have this nice dark shadow right here, but this bit of the wall here, that's essentially what this doing, you've got a little bit of a wall coming off of this building. There's a little gate, and then there's another little bit of wall that connects to the big purple building back here.
That to the left is not wall, it's a shadow. What you're saying.
No. This is a wall.
Okay, but it has to have.
But it just needs to be dark, is what I'm trying to say. It needs to be the same darkness as this little red area here. And purple
Yeah.
you got across your gate.
Okay, I see now.
Yeah. Because what's happening is that dark is a shadow that's cast from something over here. This building back here, this dark shape back here is a building. And technically it's casting a shadow over this stuff. That's where that's.
Yes, I didn't know.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. So what's happening is this is pushing forward and fighting with your umbrella here. So if you just take some of whatever you've got on top of here, this color here.
Yeah. Okay.
And go over, this wash over that whole thing right there. That'll solve that problem just by knocking that back a little bit. You'll still have some of that color showing through, some of that orange showing through like you do here. But it'll just knock back in space a little bit.
Okay.
Other than that, though, you could go in and add a wee bit of like a shadow to these umbrella stands. I did a terrible job there, but
The umbrella stands?
yeah, these poles that are holding the umbrellas up. That's what
All right.
these are.
Yeah. Okay.
So there'd be a bit of a shadow. Basically, just take some blue. You don't want them as dark as, like, this is almost there, but not quite. But just you don't want them quite as dark as back here, but almost as dark as maybe like this little bit of your trim here. Just to help push it back a little bit, just a light little, again, it doesn't have to be very dark, just a real thin little wash over part of it. And then when you get down there, just kind of curve it to a point. See how that shape? I'm doing a terrible job of drawing that shape with my mouse, but you kind of, it's almost like a fountain pen look. Like I just drew that shape. That's the kind of curve you're going to put at the bottom.
Okay. Yes.
Down here. And just fill that in with you could even use just a little bit of peacock blue or something, or royal blue or something, cobalt blue, any of those kind of, just a real thin, mostly water will help that. And then you just, continue down here. You've got enough of a dark line on a sharp edge. But you could continue a little bit down. Just pull just a thin little wisp of that down a little bit.
Dokie.
Other than that, I think it's looking great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Thank you, Mike.
You're very welcome. Let's see. Is that everybody? Yay, nay. Okay, I think that's everything. So why don't we take a little bit to, let me close all these without save. What we'll do is, because I think we're pretty. Oh, sure. Let me just finish doing what I'm doing here. There we go. So I think what we can do is maybe take time to. I think probably you guys can see how bad this photo is, how grainy it is. Like I said, we were going 70 and. Do you want that up or the sketch? You want to see my, let's see.
Sketch.
I'd like to see you as you're drawing yours.
Oh. What am I looking for here?
I'd like to see the sketch.
What am I trying to look for? D, desert. So this is what my sketch looked like. You can see that if we look real quickly in the, let's get the right tool. You can see in the photo, this bluff thing back here is much higher. I really wanted to speak about these rocks here. I like these shapes, these round shapes of these rocks. So push that down lower. Essentially, I raised my point of view up. You know, I rotated my point of view up a little bit. So I pushed this bluff thing back here down much lower. Because I really liked these kinds of shape, you know, these shapes here. I like that. I just wanted a hint of that bluff back there. I also really simplified it over what's going on back there. You know, there's a whole other cliff face back there, and that's cool, but I feel like it detracts from these really cool shapes here. So in you know, I'm just going to simply make that. I'm pushing it back further in space, away from the you know, these rock spires here than it actually is, and I'm lowering it so that we can really focus on this. And then I really simplified all this. You know, these are all you know, pinyon trees and juniper trees and, you know, all those kinds of things. I just kind of made them, I really simplified them into just kind of a bushy shape. We'll see how that transpires later. Same with this. And if we, I'll show you the actual. So I got, this is the, there we go. Oops. This is the actual picture, which is actually cropped even more. But there was all this crap going on down here that's not real pretty. So I cropped all of that out because that's just not, it's not important. Whatever it is, my photo's too blurry to tell. So I cropped it into this. And then, you know, I had this little cliff here. This won't necessarily be like bushy trees. That's kind of how I drew it in my sketch, just to give myself a shape here. I've been kind of rethinking since I did this sketch of how I want to treat that, but this is, you know, another bluff. I don't mind this little bluff. I tried this paint. The reason I picked this is because I tried this once before and I didn't like how I did it. It never got finished. And I think what happened was I ended up not kind of paying attention to my sketch, and it didn't have this little, I feel like even though this may seem like it's, let me go back to the photo. This cliff here may seem very similar to what's going on back here. This helps push those back in space, whereas this just confuses things. So I think in my original painting, like I did a pretty decent job getting these kind of sketched in, but I think I ended up, I can't remember exactly how it ended up, but I ended up not having as much of this in there, and I just didn't like the composition that ended up. Even though I'm somewhat happy with this sketch. not totally happy, but somewhat happy. Anyway, I thought it would be fun for us to give this a shot. So that's my sketch. I did one of the two together, but they end up so small that they're no, you know, I don't know. I don't know that it's that helpful. Oh wait, I actually had I put the non-cropped one in there too, but that's right, I forgot. Except I did, oh, there it is. I just don't know that that's that helpful though. Seeing both of them. Yeah, I don't like that. What if, let's get rid of that. What if I did, let's see, let's close that. Window. Is that too small when I do this kind of thing? Ooh. So you can kind of see both. Ah.
Yeah, it's nice to see both.
How about that? Is that better? I made this picture just a little bit bigger than my sketch, but you can kind of see the sketch.
Yeah, that looks good.
Okie dokie. All right, so I'm gonna pull my other painting off and sketch the piece of paper. I also need to figure out what where I want my area of interest. And now I need a pencil. There it is. Let's see if I can do a better job this time. Quickly, I'm going to switch over to. I'm going to switch over and show you my. I don't have very much. Where did it go? I don't have very much. Here we go. Very much drawn on there. In fact, you can't even see it until I. But I just made a decision, so I have, I've kind of figured out where. If we look at my sketch, this is coming down. It's that little bit there, and then I have that little bluff bit that comes in and comes down. I haven't quite drawn that correctly yet, but I'm still working on it. But I decided in order to really push this hill, which on my sketch is just this tree shape, this brushy shape thing here. I wanted to push that back in space. So even though on the photo it comes in somewhere up in here, I also moved it down just a little bit, just to help push that, sort of give that, cliff a little bit of, what's the word I'm looking for? Give this cliff height. I essentially took this here and moved it down here. So I just wanted to show you that while I was thinking about it.
Michael, do you ever purposefully tape your pictures so that they stay within a parameter for format?
Oh, the tape on my that I used to tape it down with?
Yeah.
So you're asking if I tape it off so it fits within a specific.
Well, going back to my issue with the last couple of paintings that I've done a whole page because I staple it instead of taping it. And so then it's bigger than any kind of matte opening that I can find.
Right.
And that's what I was asking was, do you specifically tape to keep yourself within photo, frame parameters?
No, I don't. I don't.
Okay.
Again, I do tend to custom cut mask myself, but I have a pretty decent mask.
Right.
But for those who don't, it's not that expensive to order some, specifically doing a bunch of the same approximate size. It's not that expensive to order a bunch that size, and then and lost my train of thought. Sorry. And just use those.
No, but I followed it.
Yeah, you know where I'm going from that.
Yes, I do. Thank you. I followed that train right down that rabbit hole.
Right off the cliff.
Yep.
Michael,
Yeah.
rock on the far left, does that go all the way up to the top of our paper?
The rock on the this one right here? On the far left? Yeah, that's kind of the top of mine. That's
The top.
Yeah, it's the edge.
Okay.
The paper, yeah.
Michael, the hall monitor here wants you to know that it's almost 8:30.
Oh. Well, we may have time to sketch this because I'm still pretty far away from being done with this.
Yeah.
But at least we'll get it sketched out and we can start painting it next week, I guess. Although I realized I was getting bogged down in some details I didn't need to be bogged down with. Y'all remember that little painting that we did? I think it was last spring, or maybe. I think we were still in class. We were still meeting in class. of
Yeah.
Ghost Ranch, the kind of thing that we did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the little cottonwoods in front of it.
Yes.
A friend of mine
Yes.
was in town, and from Austin. His mom passed away a few months ago, so he and his brother was down from Seattle, and he was here. They're going through all her stuff because they're going to sell the house because none of the family live in Farmington anymore. So anyway, some from Austin were on a trip because they wanted to see the colors, and so they were here. But anyway, long story, even longer than it needed to be, because you didn't need to know why they were here. Uh, One of the gals that was on their way through and stopped that they both stopped off here for coffee one morning and met Kelly for coffee. Anyway, she ended up buying that painting. That was kind of cool. So she,
Wow.
she thought about it. They left, and then she had Kelly send her a photo. She paid for it remotely, and then Kelly took it back to Austin with her. That was kind of neat.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was kind of a fun little start to the weekend. I think it was Saturday that happened. Kind of cool.
2020 is looking up.
Yeah. Not quite as bad as it had seemed. Not for everybody could.
Go ahead, finish that sentence.
Everybody could be doing as well as what I was trying to say, and it just trailed off there. Although then we've had a few sales this last couple of months here in the gallery, so that's been kind of nice. Could make a little. That's a weird shape. Oh,
Well, I think it makes a difference to be able, people can get to it from Main Street now.
yeah, that helped. Although it wasn't, it was actually doing pretty good before COVID hit. Once that hit, it was kind of like, man. When they couldn't be open for however many months it was, I don't know, but
Yeah.
a long time. When I was the only one in here. Well, they were here. They were doing stuff. They were doing some work to the building and stuff, using the time to kind of repair some stuff. So that was kind of nice. They had always wanted to paint the floor in the coffee shop, but never. It would take it. I think it took like a week, and there was no way they could be closed for a week during normal time. So that allowed them to get that done. Do other things. So that was kind of nice.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's kind of a cool old building.
What's that? Oh yeah, it's a really neat building. From the. I guess they finally kind of narrowed it down. They think it was built in 1907. They're not. There was always some confusion whether it was 1907 or 19. But you couldn't build a building like this today. Health and safety wouldn't let you. And it costs too much.
I know you're bored, but that's too bad.
How's everybody doing on their sketch?
I'm doing good. I'm going to sign off tonight.
Oh,
See
okay.
you next week.
All righty.
I'm just saying.
Are you going to put paint on it tonight at all?
I don't think so. I think I may just, yeah, I don't know. We only have about 20 minutes left.
20 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know that it'd be behoove us to say anything.
Right. Well, I'll see you all next week.
Okay.
Bye, Janie.
Bye.
Good night, everybody.
I will show you guys mine real quick, so you can see where I'm at. Let's see, stop share. There we go. It's probably a little hard to see. That's kind of where I'm at. What I've done is I've super simplified these trees up front and really pushed them forward in space. Whoa, focus. There we go. So I've pushed them really forward in space to help push this back, and then this I really went in and kind of simplified back kind of hill shape. And then I did a little refining on some of these shapes a little bit. I did add a little bit of dark, some pencil line. Obviously, this is not this is a graphite pencil that won't, it's not a washing, a draw and wash, whatever those are called, sketch and wash pencil. So it shouldn't affect the color that I put down. But I did make some bits darker just as little mental notes so I could remember that is what, that's a shadow. Same right here, I kind of have a little cross hatching on that to know that that's in shadow. So I did a little of that. Same with right here. I kind of colored that in a little bit. Just and I can go, if it's too dark, I can go back and just roll my eraser over it just to lighten things up. But those are really just little notes for me for when I start to actually put some paint down, because we're going to start with the lighter colors and then really push those darks much darker. But by painting, or by making those little drawing notes on the painting, once there's paint over them, they won't show up at all. But they're there for me until I get some dark paint down on that. And I'm much happier with this drawing than my sketch, actually. But that's all right, because really this is what I'm interested in. This stuff was secondary, but I do feel like this is necessary. This little piece here is necessary to help push things back. And I don't remember getting this in there properly when I tried this painting just by myself. I remember not being particularly happy with it. So I will go back to the screen share. So you guys can continue to see the. And I may put in a few more notes myself like that, some little cross hatching, something to kind of remind myself of. Well, why don't we go ahead and there's only about 10 minutes left. Why don't we go ahead and sort of stop here? I'll go back to what I got here. I didn't really do too much more on it, but changed a couple of shapes that I didn't like. I had this kind of weird thing going on right there. But I think this is probably a good stopping point. That way we don't get, I don't know, I like to start a new painting and then not be able to continue painting for a while. So I don't mind having the sketch done, but why don't we go ahead and sort of call it an evening, and we'll pick this up again next week and start well, I lost my train of thought again. Start it up next week and get going on it. If you need, I'll go ahead and resend these to those who maybe didn't get them or didn't find them or accidentally threw them away or whatever. I'll resend these files so that you'll have them. And then I know that I pushed record, so we'll definitely have that. I don't know what happened last week. So anyway, yeah. So I think, yeah, this is probably a good spot to sign off and
Hey,
wish everybody a good rest of the week. And
What size paper did you just draw that on?
it's 9 by 12, 9 inches by 12 inches. It's this pad.
Okay.
This pad. Is that, yeah, 9 by 12.
Can you shoot us a picture of your latest sketch? I have the other ones.
Yeah, the one that I just did on the paper.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I'll take a picture of that and send that too.
I have a little problem because of some eye issues, seeing some things on the computer, so it's better if I run a copy of it. Thank you.
Understand. Yep, no, not a problem. So yeah, I'll send my other sketch. I'll send the photo, and then I'll take a photo of my drawing on the paper and send that out too.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Week.
Yeah, you too. Everybody have a good week, and
you like,
yeah, we'll see you. Look forward to seeing you again next week.
all right.
All righty.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Clear.